She looked at me across the dinner table, her fork idly tracing patterns through her untouched food. There had been no fight, no tension in the air, just an unfamiliar distance in her eyes. Then, almost too casually, she said it, "I just need some independence." The words hit harder than she could have known, not because they were shouted in anger or laced with accusation, but because they came so quietly, without context, without warning. At first, I was confused. We weren't struggling. There had been no betrayal, no signs of unhappiness. I trusted her, gave her space, encouraged her passions. I never held her back. So, what exactly did she mean by independence? "I just feel like I need to figure things out on my own," she said when I asked. She couldn't explain it. Or maybe she didn't want to. I could have argued, could have clung tighter, pleaded, promised. But instead, I did the one thing she never anticipated. I let go. I didn't try to hold her in a place she clearly didn't want to be. I gave her all the space she asked for. I walked away, not out of anger, but acceptance. At first, she seemed free, relieved, even. She began to change, subtly at first. Her clothes became more revealing, more deliberate, but not for me. Her phone buzzed more often, and she started guarding it like it held her soul. She stayed out longer, laughed at jokes I never told. She was glowing, but not from joy. Something else lit her up, and I noticed. Of course I did, but I didn't say a word. I stopped asking where she was going. I stopped waiting up. I didn't check in or offer to help with her day. I let her live the freedom she claimed she needed. She thought she had won, that she had gained control over her life, and by extension, over me. But what she didn't realize was that I wasn't playing anymore. Then, gradually, something shifted. Her phone started buzzing less. The excitement in her eyes dulled. She began to glance at me more often, curious, almost nervous. She started asking about my plans, where I was going, who I was with. She was no longer floating free. She was reaching, grasping, and I was no longer there to catch her. One night, she came home late. I was on the couch, relaxed, scrolling through my phone, not a trace of tension in me. She paused in the doorway, waiting for some reaction, some sign that I was upset. "You don't even care that I was out late?" she asked. I looked up, just enough to meet her gaze. "You wanted independence, right?" And just like that, the confidence drained from her face. Because in that moment, she realized I had stopped waiting. At first, she tried to pretend it was fine, that this was all part of the space she had asked for, that I was just playing my role until she was ready to come back. But the longer I stayed distant, the more unsettled she became. Her messages grew frequent, her questions more pointed. She started to feel what I had felt, the sting of absence. Then came the moment that changed everything. She left her phone on the table one evening while grabbing a drink. I wasn't even trying to snoop, but the screen lit up with a message. "I miss you. When can I see you again?" My heart clenched for a moment, but I didn't react. I just stared. Finally, everything made sense. She never wanted independence to find herself. She wanted the freedom to explore someone else while keeping me as a safety net. She wanted to come for my loyalty while testing the waters of someone new. And now that she realized I wasn't waiting in the wings, she was losing both worlds. I didn't confront her, didn't ask who he was, because suddenly I didn't care. She had already made her choice, and now I was making mine. Over the next few days, she changed again. She laughed too easily, reached for my hand, cooked meals we hadn't shared in months, talked about the past like it was a home we could return to. But I wasn't going back. My silence said more than words ever could. One evening, I was getting ready to go out. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, anxiety written all over her face. "Where are you going?" she asked, trying to sound casual. "Out," I replied, straightening my collar. Her voice tightened. "With who?" I turned to her, calm and cool. "Why does it matter? You wanted space, remember?" Her breath caught. I didn't think you'd pull away this much." There it was. The truth. She never wanted distance. just the illusion of freedom without consequences. She wanted control. She wanted to taste what life could be like without me, without ever losing me. But now she had lost me. I saw it in her eyes. The regret, the realization, the desperate hope that it wasn't too late. But it was. "I don't want us to fall apart," she said one night, her voice trembling, eyes glistening. I looked at her for a long time, then answered, steady and cold, "We didn't fall apart. You walked away. Now I'm doing the same." Her face crumbled. She reached for me, like I was slipping through her fingers. "Please," she whispered. "I don't want to lose you." I met her gaze, calm and final. "You already did." And with that, I walked away. No drama, no screaming, just silence. The kind that lingers. The kind that tells you the moment has passed, and nothing will ever be the same again. She stood frozen in the doorway, lips parted like she wanted to say something. Anything. To stop me, but she didn't. And this time, I didn't look back. Her voice reached out one last time, but it no longer held any power over me. I didn't pause. I didn't flinch. I picked up my keys, walked to the door, and stepped out without looking back. That's when it happened. She broke. "Wait, please," she cried, stumbling forward, her voice cracking with a desperation that came too late. "Just talk to me." But the words she needed to say, the ones that might have mattered, were lost in the silence she'd chosen for too long. Now, there was nothing left to say. She had made her choice, and this was the consequence. I heard her sob behind me as the door closed, but I didn't stop walking. Not out of spite, not out of cruelty, but because, for the first time in far too long, I finally felt free. Inside that house, she stood frozen, trapped in the echo of a moment she could never undo. She would text. She would call. She would reach out with apologies and promises, hoping to stitch together what she had torn apart. But I wouldn't answer, because I had seen the truth. She never wanted freedom to grow or heal. She wanted the freedom to explore possibilities while still holding on to the certainty of me. I was her anchor, her safety net, while she tested what else the world might offer. And when those fragile fantasies crumbled, she expected to find me waiting exactly where she left me. But I wasn't. By the time she realized what she had lost, I was already gone. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, entirely gone. And that realization would haunt her for the rest of her life. She lost me, and this time there was no return, no reset, no second chance. Her cries would echo into empty spaces. Her memories would betray her with warmth that no longer existed, because I wasn't coming back. And if anyone ever finds themselves in the same place I once stood, hearing someone say they need independence, don't fight it. Give it to them. Freely. Entirely. Because if their heart was truly yours, they wouldn't need to leave to find themselves. And if they walk away, let them. And when the weight of their choices comes crashing down, don't rescue them. Let them drown in the regret they created.